Gotta watch these niggas when they up in your environment. Every time a gun around, a nigga going live again. It's hot, bro, running with hoes, he a fireman. Shit could be electric, I still ain't gonna slide with him. Sword off under your chin, look like a violin. Cowards die 1,000 deaths, it's time to die again. I ain't trying to eat with new niggas, tell them I'm dieting. Niggas trying to ball with a baller, tell them to try again. Throw so many stacks in the club, these strippers rioting. I'ma pop a couple in the morning like they vitamins. I'ma peso and Sosa, standing on the sofa. Hoes going loca, trying to throw the chocha.
Turn smack rapper, only smack rapper that you know is smack rapper.
All right, New York, you know, our identity icon is the Timberland. What's the identity icon for Oakland?
For Oakland?
Yeah.
Converse?
No.
Chuck Taylor?
Oh, you talking about shoes?
Yeah. It could be shoes, it could be anything.
It's not the Chuck Taylor?
Man, I growing up, I would damn near say, and because they moved, but it was a Raiders hat for me. I feel like it was nothing more Oakland than
Raiders hat.
Oh, Raiders hat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was like the thing. Raiders hat just felt gangster. You know
That
what I'm
makes
saying?
sense.
It just felt like
Isn't that tied to a gang though? The Raiders hat?
All hats are tied to gangs out there now.
I think you might be thinking
of LA.
Yeah, they got all kind of different hat politics.
Do you want to know what my girlfriend say? This is crazy.
Or like an A's jersey or something too.
They said guys from like the Bay Area, Oakland, they don't wear boxers. They wear like underwear.
What the hell? You're a
They
creep.
don't.
How does she know? How does she?
What's a long test study, right?
How does she? How many
wear
people?
boxers or briefs?
How many people did it take for her to figure out?
That is a large testing size to get a real sample population.
Right.
I'm just saying you
Shout
what
that
the
friend out.
girls have
Who's she?
said.
Yeah, who is she? Yeah, that ran through
I'm not
Oakland.
doing that. I got a wide network of women. Okay?
Who's your friend that ran through Oakland?
I got a wide network of women.
She's like, the briefs again. Wow.
Every time.
You must be from Oakland.
I promise you that's what someone said. I promise you
That is wow.
And she's comparing two coasts. That's
Oh yeah, you're right.
She should have kept that to herself.
Yeah, right? I would have been like, how you, wait a minute.
I have so many questions.
Survey says?
How you know she wasn't from out there?
I'm not.
Regardless.
I don't want to know where this
Gotta
woman is
keep my
from.
thoughts
I just
to
want to know that she's
myself.
not
Okay?
around me.
All right. This is what I was thinking.
Have I met her? I met her?
No.
Oh, okay, all right, cool.
Why?
She's talking about her
What do you
son, bro.
think I'm talking
This
about?
kid, I don't
Yeah,
know.
don't do that.
She got that from AI. That's what she did. Okay.
Yeah, you know, we sitting there having these building conversations. Next thing you know, the roof
I can
draws.
chat GPT it and ask if guys from Oakland wear.
Yo, stop. Stop.
All right, I'll stop behaving. Sorry.
You're going to have people using chat GBT the
all
wrong way. The wrong
It's
way.
a $1 billion tool.
Listen,
You trying to find out what kind of underwear niggas wear. What type of
She gonna be breaking, man.
sorry, y'all.
What is
I'm
wrong
I
with you?
have a question. As far as
be serious.
I'm usually concerned about this when it comes to technology because there's always somebody who A, builds a better mousetrap and C, can use it for nefarious purposes. My biggest concern whenever a new tool pops up is who's behind it and how they can benefit from it. One of the first things you said about the AI was make sure it's on your computer so it doesn't get sent out.
Local model.
I worry about, that's where my build a better mousetrap thing comes in. Like, is there a way for somebody to backdoor and get your information?
That's a
and
good
is
question.
that a legitimate concern of yours? Somebody
It
who's
is.
leaning on it this much?
Well, there's two parts to that. First of all, the average person don't care about privacy anymore, right? We consent to give our data away every time we use a new app.
Gat, are you paying attention, sir?
Right.
No, he's giving it away right now.
No, we were just talking about.
But let's say even running a local model, right?
For those of us who value our privacy.
So there's a guy I follow, this white guy on YouTube. His name is Network Chuck. He does these tutorials on how to download these local models. And literally, I was just watching this today where he downloaded on his computer. Then he was like, okay, let's check if they got any back doors on this. Because he was concerned for the same thing. They might upgrade it, put something in there. So he showed in like under 5 minutes how you can run this program that shows every time you're using it, whether it's sending outgoing signals to any other thing out besides your computer, right? And it constantly updates and it will show you as you're using it, whether these signals are going outside your computer to another server, or is it just using it locally? So there is ways that you can check, right? And I would say maybe for the average person that's not doing too much, it probably won't matter to you. But if you're somebody that, you know, is of importance in doing business on that, then I think cybersecurity is the number one thing that we need to be focusing on.
Right.
Right? Because it's number one, is another thing. Never take pictures and share them in real time. Never take any pictures around your house, period. Right? They now have the programs to where you can just show them a little piece of your house. You can see the neighbor's house, and they can put this into an AI program and know exactly where you live instantly.
Wow,
Right?
that's crazy.
You now want to utilize VPNs, right? When you setting up your emails, everything, cybersecurity, even they building out a quantum computer. And to explain this in the simplest matter, I always say it's like picking the right baby mama the first time, right? The way it works is instead of making one choice at a time.
Stop looking at me. Stop looking at me. Stop looking at me. Stop
Instead of
looking at me.
making one checks at a time, like regular computers, what they call binary codes. You feel me? Theirs use qubits, and it basically says that it can be more than one thing at once, right? So it's like saying that let me think about every possible dimension in which this can go right or wrong, right? So instead of you actually having to get the baby mama, go through CPS, go through all of the fights and arguments, imagine if you just had a vision of all that happened and be like, nope, I'm gonna go with her instead. That's kind of how the quantum computer is. It can think about all possible dimensions at once to arrive to a conclusion much faster.
It's like a Doctor Strange.
Yeah. But that also means that it can figure out ways to crack your password very fast.
Right.
So now, not even just the average person, the CIA, the NSA, governments around the world are not safe, right? Because this has the ability to have more computing power than every single computer on Earth. And it has done problems to where it would have taken the time length of the age of the universe. It solved the problem in like 10 minutes, right? And what the scientists have said that means that we've discovered a multiverse because it couldn't have done it in this universe. It had to go into multiple dimensions in order to solve this problem.
Right.
So when you think about stuff like that, this is not stuff we talk about in the coaching.
No, it's not.
This is why I like bringing these conversations because this is what's going to affect our children, our children's children, right? You got cryptocurrency. They figuring out how do we make crypto quantum safe. Every single government is building a quantum computer right now because if one government gets it and cracks it before the other, then they can control the world.
But these quantum computers are all over the world now.
Well, they're building them all over the world right now.
Right.
I think Google has the best one. Theirs is called Willow, right? But you got to look at the Chinese over there. They're not just building a quantum computer, they're building fusion. The biggest problem right now is energy. All this AI stuff take a lot of energy. Quantum take a lot of energy. I'm talking about nuclear power. So the gold fission out fusion power, it allows you to have infinite energy, right? Where they can just loop it. That means we go into what's called a type 1 civilization where we can harness the power of the sun. We don't do that now. We use oil, right, and dead coal and plants.
Right.
So what they're trying to do is this race, this AI supremacy race. It's this quantum race. All the nations are having the same race right now to figure out who's going to crack it first. China has stabilized their solar fusion, right, I think for like almost a minute, right, which is a big breakthrough. So once they figure out to keep that stable forever, then they can power these machines infinitely. And then that's when they really turn them on. So the AI is just a start.
Right.
Once you connect the quantum computer to the AI to the blockchain, that's a whole new world with the solar fusion, powered infinitely. You creating things beyond human imagination. So while we be complaining about low-level things, I'll be thinking like, damn, do the rest of the world not see what's happening? Like, this is an existential threat to where we worrying about racism. Racism, you think I care about somebody cursing me out on Twitter and a racist calling me a nigga? That don't even matter.
Right.
You can pull together a computer that can fabricate a whole reality. You know what I'm saying? Right. They got computers that can track the human brain and know what you're gonna be thinking 5 minutes into the future. Then what happens when that becomes 5 years into the future? And they map out every possible response that you can have. I look at it like when you go take back all of the conscious community, you can get mad about the debates and say there was a lot of stuff going on, but what they were showing was the super consciousness that we have. These computers ain't built off the brain and neocortex. They built off the mind. The way the mind connected to the ethers in different dimensions. Right. So these brothers sound crazy when they talking about it.
Minus the emotions.
But when you realize it, these are not things that white people made fun of. We made fun of it. They was listening. When Elijah Muhammad said that there's motherships and he was giving a breakdown about astronomy, and Mother Tanetta was giving a breakdown about how the rich is going to try to escape to go to Mars a long time ago. This stuff was sounding crazy to people, but now we live in this reality. And we realize we ignored those who were the prophets of our time that could have steered us in the right direction, and we just made fun of them. And then media made more fun of them. And now those people became ostracized as never listen to these niggas. But that's a psyop. So they program they got now called Stargate. They want to put billions of dollars into Stargate to try to make America this super AI, $500 billion. Soon as they announced that, right, that's when Chinese people was like, yeah, our AI better than yours. Then they dropped DeepSeek, threw the whole market off. It was like, man, if we spending billions of dollars to buy these chips and they made one for millions of dollars, then we may be putting our money in the wrong direction. But when you look at where does Stargate come from? The CIA ran a program called Stargate. I believe it was in the 60s. It was a program that was testing superhuman abilities, right? Whether you have clairvoyant, psychic, they would even get these tests to children early on to test if there was children that had gifts, right? To where they can touch objects and get a sense of things. They were trying to figure out how do we tap into the superhuman abilities of people. That's what this movie with Mel Gibson, not Mel Gibson, I forget the dude's name at the time, but it was The Men Who Stare at Goats. So it was a real CIA program to try to figure this out.
Right.
But now they don't want to use humans. They're not using a brain trust. Productivity at an all-time low because people can't focus no more. They want to replace them with robots and machines. So they knew Stargate is how do we get the super potential out of machines? And at that point in time, what use will they have for humans? You're just going to be overpopulated. They're going to treat you just like cow and rodents. The elite don't look at people like real people. They look at you as just numbers, right? And when you look at these movies, they telling you they're conscious. They make movies all the time about what happens when these certain archetypes have control and they just run the world into the ground for the point of just destabilizing and creating anarchy, just to see if I can. Because the most successful devil in the world is the one who destroys the world, just because he can. There's been many people who tried, but they weren't successful, but now they're becoming so overtly powerful that Black people have to see themselves differently. We have to become like super beings during this time. That means physically, mentally, spiritually. We got to be in a whole nother place. But how do you do that if we can't even pay attention? And we fighting over the smallest things on the planet. So it's like, man, I'd be so frustrated thinking sometimes like, how do you get a message to a people who can't even think and pay attention right now?
Well, there's a reason it's important to you. They haven't found the reason of why it's important to them.
And they won't.
It's Hoffa, trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rapper.